Hello, lovely listeners. We are here. It is Sarah here, and I'm here with the wonderful Lucie, who's currently pulling up a blind or something.
Yeah, sorry.
Just as we press record, we are here for our final episode of 2025 of Playful Leadership and Other Things. And I am very excited about this episode, not just because we are both wearing Christmas headgear. So I've got some sparkly Christmas trees. Lucie is
I've got
wearing a glorious crown.
made by my mom.
Oh, additional detail. Very
Yeah, made by
important.
my mom.
Lovely.
Super bougie.
But also because we're going to use this month's episode as a bit of a reflection, a bit of a projection into 2026. And Lucie is also going to tell us about some very exciting biotech that she has going on.
I am. Um, yeah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Lucie.
Sorry for making a noise. I realise it's the end of the year, right? And for those who were watching the video, I was moving my lamp across the room because I spend a lot of time teaching things like technical inclusion and how to ensure online we're doing the best. And yet I still turn up to this podcast and have my face too close and with really bad lighting. And I was like, Lucie, just slightly move that lamp so you look less shadowy. So that's what I was doing. I was being vain. And yeah, thinking about myself. So sorry.
We are all human.
We are all
We are
human.
all human.
Oh, my mum's hat's falling down my head.
I love it.
Love it.
It's like for anyone who isn't watching the video, it's like a cushiony, it's like a quilted, is that what it is? Like quilted.
It is. I'll take it off. You can see my unbrushed hair for those of you who are watching the video. Ugh. It's literally like it's double-sided. It is a Christmas cracker hat, basically, but a super duper posh one. And it's like made of rustly material on the inside and then a lovely kind of velvet tie. And she made one for all 6 of my family and then all 5 of my sister's family and then all 6 of my brother's family as well. So she was busy. But I love it.
Amazing.
It's so good.
So you've all got to wear those on Christmas Day.
Exactly. They're so
Do you
good.
have designated ones that like fit your head size?
I just
Or
have to have a fat
is it
head
just
because
one
my
size fits all?
no, the kids ones have got like Velcro on them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are definitely a lot smaller because she's thought about the height of the crown as well on a child's head. So they've got smaller ones and they've got like Velcro, and I've got the world's fattest head. So I've got just a ginormous one. Honest to God, it is really big. As a baby, they used to have to measure my head every week because it was growing so quickly, and they didn't know what was wrong with it.
Wow.
And now I have to wear men's size hats, but
And what did they
the
conclude
curse
about your head and what was wrong
just
with
got a
it?
fat head. So from Stoke, they say they call it. What do they call them? There's a name. Apparently, people from Stoke, which is where I am from, have above average sized heads. And they
Okay.
put it, the old wives' tale is because we're the home of the potteries for like forever and ever and ever. So people were always like carrying things like earthenware on their heads. So you had to have a big, strong head to be able to
Okay.
do the work. So I'll just run with that story. It's just historical from my people.
You got a strong head.
Got a big fat head, that's right, yeah.
Well, you and your big fat head are welcome here, and I'm loving the crown. And I was just thinking, what a cool project for your mum to have taken upon herself. How long did it take her to make all of these crowns?
It took her quite a while. And I think the incredible thing is she also like redecorated. My mum's like 76, 77, so she did these last year, whilst also holding down a part-time job because she needed something to do to keep her busy, whilst also redecorating her house by hand, whilst also looking after my father, who is completely reliant on her for everything. I always think that's really impressive. She has all of this stuff and she's like, do you know what I really need to do? figure out how to make you all jazzy crowns. And I'm like, yeah, but it's play, right?
It is.
She enjoyed it. She was playing. It was creative. She enjoyed it. Like there was lots of like reciprocal like savouring when she saw us wearing them. So my mum is so positive psychology coded. It is insane.
That's amazing. But yeah, absolutely, totally, it is play, right? She's just taken us upon herself to do this project, which is just fun, right? It's just about having a fun Christmas hat on your head. There's no other purpose to it except for the fact that it brings joy, and then the ripple effects of all of that, like you say, of kind of sharing the photos and everything, and just the joy of the process of making them.
And figuring it out, flow state, right? Complete flow state. Got to figure that out. What's going to be the right size? How am I going to stuff it? Yeah. So good. And you've got Christmas trees on your Swede.
I've got sparkly Christmas trees. These were not made by my mum. These were made in a factory and sold in a cheap pop-up Christmas shop. And it just sells Christmas stuff. So it sells headbands like this. It sells, stuff to put on your windows. It sells flashy lights. It sells singing, dancing Father Christmases. Yeah. And it just sort of magically appears at Christmas time and then disappears again the rest of the year.
How fabulous. It's literally Santa and his workshop.
It literally is.
This makes me laugh a lot. Word association. When you say window, what happens in your head? I go, to the window, to the wall, every single time. And it's like, if I say cricket, or if somebody says cricket, what happens in your head?
I don't like cricket.
Yes.
No.
I love it. And I love it. You ask people, don't you? And then they're like, nothing. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you. There's not this whole like background, like weird storytelling that's happening. Get out.
That sounds like a good game for Christmas Day.
Indeed. Right then, I'll stop distracting us. Let's get on with it. So I wanted to show you, Sarah, my biotech. And for those of you who are listening, I am wearing a piece of equipment that monitors various kind of goings on within my body to help basically get a reading of my nervous system and how it is behaving and reacting moment to moment. So it is attached just under I'll show Sarah, and anyone watching, it's on the right hand side of me, just under my collarbone, and then it goes across my body and it attaches on the bottom of my bottom rib of my left rib cage. And I wear this for like 3 to 5 days, right? And what it literally does is it tracks various functions, but the HRV, so the heart rate variable, which is the space between the heartbeats. And what this does is it allows us to get a reading of the kind of the activation within a nervous system. So we can see if the nervous system is turned on massively and it's really energized and there's high levels of stress. But we can also see when the body is recovering as well, because we're going to have, like, in terms of, I don't want to be too technical. So low HRV is stress. High HRV is recovery. High heartbeat is stress. Low heartbeat is recovery. But we can use this pause to really get a picture of our rhythm, and if we are able to rest, because obviously recovery happens in rest, and recovery isn't just, I don't think we give it enough magnitude when we're discussing recovery. It's used so casually.
I was just thinking we see it as something like it's a guilt thing, right? Like we don't actually value time to recover from stuff. We kind of we think we need to go, and it's kind of like, oh, if I just have 5 minutes to sit down on the sofa and rest, like that's an idle moment. I'm feeling guilty about that. I think particularly as a parent, we don't value it, but it's so important, right?
It is so important, particularly as a parent, because I know we've discussed this in a previous episode, but we model the behaviour that our children develop as their habits. So we might tell our children to rest, and they might think, as a child, I shouldn't do much. And in exchange, when I hit adulthood, I must be busy to be worthy, because they're watching us say, you rest, you don't do much, I'll do this. They see our busyness. So our desire and goal to give them potentially an idyllic or an easy childhood is actually setting them up for this continued stress, beating themselves up for not recovering, because it's that, what's the saying? It's a bit harsh, but I didn't mean it harsh. Like the path to hell is paved with good intentions. We've tried so hard to keep them safe that we've just modelled exhaustion, which they'll think is the standard. The reason recovery is so important is because, and the reason I'm kind of laying this on thick is people just don't give it enough thought. They're all, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. It's easy for you to say. And by the way, I teach this stuff, live and breathe it, still feel stressed quite a lot of the time, even knowing what I know. And I'll show you my results in a minute. You'll go, oh my God, Lucie, Jesus, sort yourself out. Because when we don't recover, what basically happens is our nervous system it's just on, like it's on very high energy, like high stress, activated state. We're not designed to be activated for the long term whatsoever. We're designed for recovery. And when we maintain that kind of always on very high levels of stress, the body can't sustain it, so it will literally begin to break down. So we'll hear it like, oh, well, burnout. So that burnout is when we're just switched off, bang, we can't tolerate anymore. So our body kind of shuts us down for our own good. Or, as we've discussed before, not having recovery looks like digestion problems. It looks like autoimmune diseases. It looks like cancers. It looks like issues with the brain. It looks like complete immune issues, reproductive issues. Every single organ in your body is impacted by stress. Every single part of your body is. The vagal nerve, which helps regulate stress, it sends the messaging. It helps send messages throughout the body. That touches everything, every single thing. That is from your tippy toes to the hair on your head. Stress touches everything. Stress, while regulated, is extremely useful and necessary. Unregulated stress leads us to disaster. And the sticky wicket with stress is, in the moment, it feels energizing, or it can feel it, because it becomes the norm.
Yeah.
I am so used to being stressed, I don't know, this feels good, and I feel like I can function really well here. And then one day they're like, oh, you have got an autoimmune disease, or it's been 5 years and I'm struggling to conceive, or, all of these different things, because the impact is a problem for future you. So you don't realise the value for present you. So the reason that I like this tag is because it's a bit of a bitch slap. Because, as I say, I live and breathe this stuff, but I do not, and we discussed this last time, always practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I'm too consumed with everything. So I've got this first bit on just to kind of monitor everything. And the readings are shocking, sir. They're so bad. And I've used it with a couple of people, but I'll try and show it to you.
So does it links to your phone or something, does it? So you're wearing this tech 24/7 and you get live updates on your heart rate, your stress levels.
Yeah. And you plug in things like what you're doing
at
various points across your day. So you'll plug things in. So then we can accurately map what the trigger is, what's got you going. So red is necessary because red is, we have to have stress. You can't do anything without putting stress on the body. So we expect to see it. So red is stress, blue is exercise, which obviously we really need, and green is recovery. We should be seeing a lot of recovery throughout the day because the body just needs to ebb and flow. It doesn't have to be big bits of recovery, but small micro moments, and that's preparing. It's just helping us function well. So if you see mine, look at the red. That's going
So
across
that's,
it.
how long is that? Is that a day? That's a day's
That
worth
is
of
a
data.
day. That's like a day, and then we've got more red there. So that bit of green that was some sleep, and then today.
Right. So what I'm looking
red.
at, just for the listeners, is I'm seeing Lucy's holding up like a graph, and it's got red lines going up like a sort of zigzag, like sort of mountain peaks, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So we start off quite high red, and then it goes to nothing, and then there's a little bit of green, and then there's a big red peak, and then that goes down.
Went to sleep mode.
Your phone's bored of it. That's all red there. There's no blue, and there was a tiny bit of green this morning.
Yeah, and I don't feel stressed.
So you're not noticing it.
I feel, so this is it. Chronic stress becomes the norm. It becomes every day. So I see it, well, that's life. I've got 4 kids. I've got a global family. I've got a business. I've got 3 qualifications that I'm doing at the same time. I've got this, but just crack on, like energy. And there's nothing wrong with the energy. And having those high spikes of red wouldn't be an issue if there was the recovery.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is it shows us the body's lag. So if it was that I was like, do you know what? I am going to train really hard tonight because I've got to get my body feeling energized, and that needs looking after as much as my brain. I'm going to go and do some CrossFit. I could potentially then see the activation in my nervous system last until 3 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
So it does, just because I stop moving and I might feel tired, doesn't mean my body has been able to like drop out of that state.
So it takes a while for the rest state to actually be activated.
Yeah, exactly. So then if I am activated till 3 a.m, thinking I'm doing everything really well, and then I get up at 5:30, I've had 2.5 hours of recovery, and then I'm going to go into this spiral. So it's a really useful tool, not to scare yourself, but to have that reality check of, oh, well, maybe if I, instead of going for like a morning walk, I did my CrossFit in the morning.
Yeah.
Because then that activation is going to be really good for me, because then it's going to have lots of other pro health factors across my day. And then I'll have the evening walk at the end of my day. Or maybe, I'm noticing massive spikes after coffee that I'm not coming down from. Or I spoke with one person, you could see a high conflict conversation.
Right.
But then you could also see when she relayed that high conflict conversation to a confidant. And it was exactly the same level of activation in the nervous system as the initial experience. So it's so cool, because with that data, you can then play with it.
Yeah.
And the answer is play.
Well, I was, I mean, as you've been talking through all of this in my mind, I've been going, well, play is so important for regulation of our nervous system, right? To kind of get us into, we cannot play unless we are in a state of flow, feeling safety, kind of like in a relaxed state. Even if we're physically quite active, if we're really in a true playful state, then we're open, we're kind of relaxed, right? There's a lot of positive stuff going on. So I'm interested to know like how that would look on this biotech. What color does play come in?
Oh, it's a good question, because that might still be red. So Well, you could track it. You could write the things that you were doing because, as I said, red isn't bad.
Mm.
Prolonged high level red is bad. So it
Red
could
on
be
its
that you've
own
got
is bad. It's with the
yeah,
other
just
colours. Yeah.
yeah, or but low level red is also fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because that you might just be in a task. It
Right.
takes effort. So maybe that's what flow looks like. It takes effort. There is something that's energizing and engaging and like forward motivation. So that could be maybe low level red. And I think that's the fun to play with it. And then that's why I'm using it in the program to see what can we track, what can we map. Obviously, there are other factors like general fitness. Are you overweight? At the minute, I am overweight for my height and I am the most unfit that I've ever been. So that is going to naturally be more strain on my body. So there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be more activation. Again, super useful information. When I'm like, well, I feel all right. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Your
That's
body
the really
doesn't.
interesting part, isn't it?
It's something you could easily get obsessed with. So it should be used as a guide, not like a Bible. It's not literally set in stone. And to take action and try not to be overwhelmed by it. So my plan is to try and not do much with my lifestyle while I'm tracking.
Mm.
Um,
Just do your normal life.
Yeah, so we get that, and we have to take into account things like I've just travelled to the UK. I've been with like family who was sick. I've then come home from -5 degrees to 40 degrees, like straight into work. I landed and then was straight into work delivering. So there's been lots of other strains that you have to take into account in your body. But then make those small amendments. But it could be the smallest things that like noticing, oh, that green bit was when I was playing with the kids, or that red bit was when I was playing with the kids because they fought
Mm-hmm.
and they were horribly stressful, which is probably why mine is red because it's half term.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, stop hitting your sister, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. Go outside, it's 40 degrees, it's too hot, fine. You know, all of that kind of stuff. So the recovery that you're actually seeing is in the morning when no one's near me.
When it's peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you're right. I think it can get a bit obsessive and it can feel a bit judgy. But actually, it's about, as with any data, I guess it's about how you use it. And what you're saying is we can get a really good picture of what's actually going on in our body. Because one of the things my watch has was a kind of a stress measure. And I was like, well, I don't need to be told when I'm feeling stressed or not. I know when I'm stressed. But what you've just told me about this biotech that you've got, which is way more accurate than my watch is ever going to be, is that actually we can be in these periods of stress without realizing it. And it's also about understanding, it's not about like stress in and of itself. You can't look at stress in isolation. You've got to look at stress in the context of what else you have in your day. And the issue with stress isn't stress. The issue with stress is chronic stress, when we don't have those periods of recovery. And our whole stress response system is designed for recovery. And when we're sitting at our desk at work and we get an email in that causes us stress, we just sit there with it. We're physically, literally in the same space,
Yeah, the
and
brain's
the
doing the
way
difference between a tiger or an email.
exactly. And the way we evolved was to run away from the tiger, and we do that, and we find a cave and we hide in it. We're safe, and then our stress response comes down. That's a healthy level of stress, and in that's what you're talking about, right? When you say stress is really helpful, and it's designed to actually sharpen our thinking and all of these sorts of things. But where it starts eroding, that is when it's chronic and we're not giving it that recovery time.
Yeah, it's so potent.
Yeah. And we don't, and yet, and there's, if you think about how much the whole well-being industry is worth with, buying your candles and your essential oils and, you know, the spa days that you can go on and all of this. So on one level we like really value it, but that it's seen as a kind of like, it's like a luxury for myself. I'm going to treat myself to some recovery, when actually it's not a luxury at all.
No,
it's
not.
Something that we need to be mindful of building into our day. And if we have the data that your tracker's giving you, then we can see what's happening in our day, what's impacting that, where we could find these little moments, and then see what difference that makes.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me cross like the wellness movement. And don't get me wrong, I teach a lot in psychological safety and psychological fitness, but that's just capitalism. No candle, no sheen haul, no spa day is going to fix chronic exhaustion and chronic stress whatsoever. What is going to probably make it worse, because most people don't have the funds to do that, and they're being told that buy this product and it will fix you, and that really stresses me out, because the antidote to stress isn't rocket science. It's connection, it's movement, it's slowness, it's safety to have a strong conversation, it's human. It's regulating. We regulate it. We're wired for each other. If I'm my kids do my head in, but I'm stressed out, man. They're probably getting that energy off me. Come on, let's go, kids. Come on. 1,000 things to do before breakfast. Let's go. We've got to be productive. We've got to be on. Got to do this. Got to do that. Got to. These little nervous systems. Oh God. You know. Then they're frantic, and then it's like one of them looks at the other one the wrong way. Bang. And then I'm like, I haven't got time for this, tunnel vision. And then I have to catch myself. But then sometimes I'll blame them, because I'm stuck in my own stress. So instead of being able to step backwards and be self-reflective and say, this is something that I created, let's chill. I kind of gaslight them. You've done this. Like, no, they haven't. Like, you're just stressed out, Mama, go and calm down and chili beans. But it is connection, and it is going slow. And I had a conversation with somebody today, and they were on about like chronic stress. And like normally really big thinkers, super intellectual, get stuck in their own head. Do, go get there's a solution. Let's move. And like they were saying how they were talking about it, and people were like, you've got the answers. You know what to do. No, we don't. Like, or in the moment, we cannot access them. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The modern environment is not designed for what we innately know about stress, recovery, and well-being. We do have to learn it. And then when we are chronically stressed, the brain is designed to keep us in it. It's exceptionally hard to pull yourself on, no man or woman is an island, out of that. You need community of people who are not Debbie Downers. Like, you need podcasts, insights, connection, a literal change of perspective to be able to break out of that funk. Is one angle that I'm going to take on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, we do know it in our bodies, like in our instincts, but we live in a world where we've unlearnt how to access those instincts and and the natural order of things. I think we were talking about it last time, like if you're scrolling on your phone, that it's never ending. You are the one responsible for ending that scrolling session. Your phone, unless it runs out of battery, is not going to come to a natural end and therefore kind of co-regulate this recovery space. And this is why I'm interested in it in relation to play, because there's this like play sleep cycle. Like, we need to play well to sleep well, and we need to sleep well to play well. And we can look at our kind of rhythm through the day as being this play, sleep, which you could also see as stress recovery. Like it's the same process going on, right? Like, so when we're talking about play, again, I think we can think about it in a very narrow understanding of, when we're playing, we're playing a board game, we're playing with children, we're doing something specific. But actually, if we think about play in terms of the state we're in our bodies, so it's a cognitive state, it's an emotional state, it's a nervous state, that could be when we're doing an activity that we love, that we really enjoy. It can be when we're chatting with our friends, it can be when we're reading a book. Any of these things can be play, and what they offer us is regulation and connection with the experience of being human.
Yeah, absolutely. I love putting the cycles next to each other, because you're correct, they are one and the same. Just a different label. Play more, but the stigma around playing more is ginormous. And I believe there's one step or one barrier or level of friction that people come up against, is that every time you try to change a behaviour, we are all in environments, habits, ways of being that are easy and that have been designed to be so. We work in a certain way because that's what the environment kind of creates or dictates. We behave in a certain way because that's what we know and that's what everybody around us expects. So it's very easy, and being stuck in hustle culture is the norm and it's the expectation. So when we say, well, chill out, slow down, play, recover, it's a bit like, fuck you, man. I'm busy, I'm stressed. Like,
I don't have time to play.
Space.
Yeah.
I don't have time to play. And I do it. I haven't got time to play. And people expect this light bulb moment when they do it. No. Sometimes, when you play right. But you're going against what the brain classes as safety. The brain is classing your hyper on as safe, right? So going slow feels really dangerous. Playing feels really scary because there's a loss when we play, when we're used to being always on. So it's not
so a loss because it's something we're losing our sense of familiarity with what's going on and what's doing.
Change.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the brain doesn't like change, does it? So when we decide to play, like you were saying earlier on, I've got too much to do, I'm too busy. But there's also a bit of the fear of well, what is going to happen when I don't do that thing? Or there's something to pull you back into the stress. Or it slowness can feel really overwhelming when you've been going so fast.
Yeah.
It can feel scary, but change is uncomfortable. And you've got to accept the discomfort is the sign you're doing the right thing. As long as it's not ginormous, overwhelmed, hideous, too much, too fast, too soon. Discomfort, when you're trying something new and novel, is a real good indicator that you're on the right path. Because you're kind of getting your nervous system to tolerate it, and then you're actually building in recovery for the long term.
You're building in that resilience to it. And all of this makes me think there's a really good book that I think I've talked about before by a lady called Joanna Fortune, and it's called Why We Play. And in this book, she tells an anecdote about there was, I can't remember whether it was an exam that she was studying for or a really, tight deadline that she had to work for that was kind of, on the Monday morning, and she was feeling really stressed about it and kind of she needed to knuckle down and kind of, get the study done, get it out the door. But what she did instead was she booked herself onto a calligraphy course over the weekend because she knew that was actually the best way to give her brain the rest, the recovery, the playtime that it needed to be in the right state to get the work done the following week.
Amen.
And it's a really nice reminder that, you know, this whole mindset that we have around kind of like cramming and no, I've got to work, and I do it. Like, I've been really, like, I had a big meltdown the other week on Thursday night, like trying to make tea I was just like, I don't know, I can't do this. I literally cannot make some sausages for my children, because I'd been working until, you know, I just hadn't given myself any break in the week, and I'd been working till, you know, 11 p.m. every night. I'd been going to bed, and as soon as I'm awake in the morning, the kids are there, and it's getting them out the door, and it's doing this, and it's taking them swimming, and blah, blah, blah. And I just couldn't do the most basic tasks, and it was because everything in my body was just crying out to me, take a break. And if I had, you know, anticipated that, and, you know, was the superhuman that we're talking about creating, actually being able to stop and go, I'm going to do something now that is different, that is creative, that is playful for me. The work that I need to do is not, there's no progress being made tangibly on that work, but the brain nourishment that is needed to complete that task is happening, and that's what's needed. And if I can take a break and build that play in, then I still would have been able to get that work done at a different time, and it probably would have been better. I would have not got so stressed by it. There wouldn't have been the impact there is on my body. The work would have not suffered. But we live in these stories that things have to be, if we want something done, we need to stick at it, you know, without breaks.
Absolutely. Without breaks. I am a absolute machine for that one. But yeah, we need boredom to innovate.
And I wonder if sometimes the idea of like taking a break feels hard, because it's like, if I say to you, don't think of a pink elephant, like, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Yeah,
it's a pink elephant, sure. Right? Because we don't work very well with negatives, like, don't do something. So if it's just like, do nothing, have a break, it's like, well, I don't know how to do nothing. And sometimes that's a signal that that's actually really what we need to do. But I think it's helpful to think about it in, well, what can I do that gives my brain a break? So, for example, a calligraphy course, that's taking my brain into a completely different state. It's a creative thing. It's something that I can explore freely. You know, in terms of the brain activity that's going on, it's deactivating that system that's been stressed out, basically. Yeah. So rather than thinking I need to stop and do nothing, it might be I need to stop and do something different. And that might be
redirect my attention. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when we're in a problem, we are stuck in that problem. Redirect. Could be watering your lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Water your lawn.
Do you know what I was... Go on.
Well, I was just going to list off some random things that you could do. Water your lawn, go for a walk, put the washing on. You know, that might not seem like it's play, but it's doing something. And also, all of those things are embodied, right? Particularly if we're at a desk and we're sort of stuck, immobile at a desk. Doing anything that brings more physicality and gets your body engaged in the task that you're doing is also so important and part of this whole play, rest, recovery cycle.
Absolutely. It really, really is. Just play, recover, rest. Do you know what I've started to do, which I found really useful, because I feel like busyness or value is only found in the work, as in like, mommy's got to work. And there's huge stuff there, because my kids are like, you're on your phone, it's like, I'm working. We're at the pool. Most of the mummies and daddies are at work, physically, not near you. I work with you. You're going to see me work. I'm really sorry. Like, the guilt feels overwhelming and unbearable at times. So what I've started to do, because I've only been putting value to things that make money, because I've got bills to pay. So I've actually begun to like put like buckets in my head. So today we've had workman round, and it's like, yeah, I haven't been filling the work bucket, but I've been filling the home bucket, and that is as valuable, if not more so. And then I've just spent an hour with the kids. That's the kids bucket. That is equally as important and well, more so and valuable than the work bucket. I am at every stage contributing to my family, because my family cannot just stand on the work bucket.
Yeah.
It's held up by so many different threads, and that's actually really helped me. Like, I'm participating and I'm giving a lot to my family, by being the person who can let the work people in, who can chase up those quotes, who can go and do this in the middle of the day, and then can work. It is all as valuable, and I don't know what that's helped, like, make me feel less guilt around staring at my navel, because it's
And
like, yeah,
that's
it was still work.
and that's a really, like, this idea of these buckets is a really playful way to come at that.
Yeah,
Like, even I'm envisaging now, like, all these orange buckets with different labels on, and you can kind of be chucking stuff in them as you're
yeah,
doing them, so that you know where you are in the day. And I think that is the other thing about play and playfulness, is that we can get it from just those little, what would you call it, like a little perspective shift, like a little game that you can play in your head, just a quick check in, like, oh, what bucket am
yeah,
I going to be in now? And you've
yeah.
kind of
It's an
activated that
exchange.
little, yeah, rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
thinking
It feels
rather than
lighter.
thinking like I need a play bucket, and that therefore makes play like heavy and serious, and I need to dedicate it to, and it's something that I'm going to feel guilty of. Like, you can infuse it through everything else and still get those benefits of those little micro moments,
Yeah,
and the benefit of the task that you're actually doing as well.
exactly, exactly. And yeah, and it does feel lighter actually, putting it in those buckets, because I do like to have a sense of purpose. Um, it helps, meaning is so important. Um, but I'm also my own worst critic.
I
So
don't
when I
like
think,
cricket.
yeah,
No,
ooh,
no.
yeah, literally. Yes. But yeah, so sometimes I will also, at the end of the day, to-do lists are really good to reduce the cognitive load for tomorrow. But they also can make like present day Lucy feel like shit. So I also write a got done list, and
Nice.
I just put everything on it, like, oh, check me out. And it links back to, I always remember somebody saying about money. Most of us have got like really bad relationships with money, and we see it as like this loss when we spend, and we have this fear around like letting money go, because we feel as all of a sudden we're going to lose our houses, or there's not going to be enough food, or most of us have got unhelpful money stories. And I always remember one person saying, but my darling, everything's an exchange. So yes, you gave that money, but you were given something in return. Like, the money gave you the electricity, or not so much like necessities, but say if I wanted to go on, I want to come and do that course that you're going to, the AI, positive psychology and AI, and it's really affordable. But I'm like, I've got some other things going on. Eek. Do I want to spend, even though it's a tiny sum for something imaginable, something so incredible? So it feels, oh, what a waste. Like, oh, there's more
Yeah.
serious grown up things to spend that money on. But I'm getting so much more in exchange.
Yeah.
And I think when we flip it to, I'm not losing that. That money doesn't get burnt away. There is something that is given in return that is of greater value. And
Yeah.
that value can lead to more value. And I feel that for me, like, helped flip a switch. And I feel like kind of links into this as well. Like, instead of seeing lack in the stuff that you do, when we see it, we flip that switch and we put it into those buckets. It's value. Like there was an exchange. I did this, and now we've got aircon today. Yes, not in this room though. I'm sweating. I can see my hair starting
And
to
you
get
still
wet.
got, and you've got a puffy hat on as well.
And a big shirt. Didn't help myself. But I think a lot of life is learning to reframe it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it is. And playfulness is so helpful at reframing. There's something called fun framing,
tell me about
which
fun framing.
is it's exactly that. It's thinking about if you've got a stressful situation or something that you're kind of feeling a bit about, then what's a fun way to frame it? So it might be thinking about those buckets and putting a different funny face on each of those buckets, or imagining throwing a ball into the bucket each time you're switching tasks, so that you can kind of get your sense of purpose, or something that you can, a way that you can frame something that is challenging for you, that gives you that little like smile, gives you a little like and makes it feel lighter, and therefore makes it feel easier.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'm going to try that. That sounds like a lot of fun. You need to talk to me, Sarah. We have talked so much that we haven't actually reflected on what went well over our 25 and how we're going to project into the future. So give me your highlights.
So where my reflections from 2025 and how playfulness and play has helped me. This is a big one actually, because I feel like 2025 for me has been a real journey, and I don't think I could have taken on that journey without a playful mindset. And so there's not kind of like one standout moment where I'm like, oh, I did this thing and I brought playfulness into it and it was great. It's more like playfulness has been my anchor throughout this whole year, and this like sense of like discovery. So I've been basically coming back to work this year properly after having several years off for having kids and doing the masters and everything. So it's been a real gear change for me, especially because last time I was working properly was pre-COVID. So, the world has completely changed. My world has completely changed. So there's been a lot of digging and rediscovering kind of what it is that I want, how that's going to work, how it looks, how do I make it my own, and lots of work going on there. And the playfulness has allowed me to pursue lines of inquiry without pressure, to explore whether they work for me, to change tack if they're not, to really stay connected to a sense of journey and progress without the pressure of there needing to be a predefined outcome from it. And that's been massively valuable to me. And I've had a lot of fun along the way. There have been some tricky times along the way, but the playfulness has always kept me through. And when it has been the tricky times, that's when, and we've gone on about this, I think, in almost every episode, that has been the times when then it's really kind of proven its worth, because I've been able to go, okay, this is potentially gonna change my life upside down. I've just got to live this in the moment now, each day as it comes, and I know that I kind of trust myself that I can take what's coming to me because of that connection to that playful mindset. So that has been massive for me this year. And going into next year, more of the same, actually. I feel like I've got so many things that I'm excited about kind of getting going with next year. There might be a community of practice that I'm setting up for playfulness. There's going to be some more podcasts. There's a whole new program, playful coaching program that I'm going to be piloting and launching. My challenge with it all is doing it, and like doing it and doing all of those things, because there's so much to play with. It's like, oh, what do I play with first? So that's there's just a lot of optimism and excitement, I think, going forward into next year.
I love that. That's so good. I'm excited at the idea of like a kind of crash course and play. That sounds amazing. All over that. Do an online version. That would be excellent. I love that theme of just like putting down expectation, just seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
Trying it. And I'm a massive believer in nothing ever fails.
As long as we're learning, we're winning, right? Like that's the thing. And play is about learning. It's our mechanism for learning. So as long as we've got that, and we can reflect on it afterwards and go, okay, well, what do I know now that I didn't know before? What do I feel now that I didn't feel before? Everything is a process, and something changes in that process. And if something's changed, then it's learnt.
Exactly.
We can learn from it.
And then you iterate. You just iterate and iterate from that space.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it has been highs and lows. I'm glad that the year is feeling like solid and anticipatory delight potentially for what is yet to come. I think for myself, probably echoes similar to what you have said. I've worked so hard to put play, joy, gratitude, all of the different topics as a foundation, and it is not perfect. There are some days I can't get out of bed. You know what I mean? There are low days, and there are high days, and there are every day in between. I am a gloriously imperfect human. Yet, in my core, I'm so happy. You know, even on the down days where I think, oh God, somebody put me out of my misery, like this is the worst, take me and do something, like brush my hair for me, whatever. Like even on those days, there's this core of everything's going to be okay. I like myself, you know, I want to look after myself, I love my family, and that is a learnt skill. Because I have prioritized that foundation of sitting every single day and doing the stuff that, you know, sounds really cheesy, like writing letters, gratitude, angel cards for me are the biggest source of play. Yes, I know that it's kind of a bit woo-woo, but it helps me shift perspective. And it helps me see things. Putting on high vibe music, all of these small micro moments of play throughout my day that feel like nothing have changed the way I see reality. So this has probably been my worst year, like on record, when we look at it. Like it's been like blow after blow after blow after blow, full start, like, you know, the shamanic death, like growth, like so much going on, grieving people. And I've looked around at other people and I'm like, whoa, it's so big what they're feeling. Like, and absolutely, that's the appropriate response for those people. And I'm like, why aren't I feeling that extreme? Why aren't I feeling so lost and so kind of desolate with it all? And then I realised it's because I've built the core. You know, I'm feeling it, man, but I feel secure enough to ride the wave.
You're feeling it, but you're not feeling overcome by it.
Exactmond. That is it. And I feel really proud of me for doing that, because it's definitely played positive psychology and blind faith and optimism that I can learn the skill. Just like you, I can fuck it up, I can fail, I can go again. And the days that have been exceptional, as in like the business wins, are the ones I've played. I've just got up that morning and I thought, let's just give it a go. Let's have this conversation, and it's paid off. Going into next year, for me, it's having a group of people around me who also want to play, like an aligned group, because I do very much think that you have to protect your peace. And we need to have challenge. By the way, this is a whole other topic. We need to have challenge. We need to have discomfort. We need to have people that piss us off, but we love to be around them. I'm not saying this boundary myself, so I never have to feel. Not at all. I want to be a good villager. What I'm saying is, when you're trying to do big, creative, outlandish things, if everybody around you is scared and worried,
Yeah.
it seeps.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You have to then really kind of have to do anti-play to play. So I want lightness. I'm hoping to connect with more people, to grow, and to really push like the regenerative leadership program. But just have some good souls around me, man. And I think I've won.
So important. And you've touched on this really interesting kind of paradox with play and creativity and everything, that we have to, there's such a fine line between risk and safety, and we have to feel safe, but we have to feel there's a bit of risk, otherwise we're not, you know, it's that kind of tantalizing sort of like, oh,
Yeah.
what if we go here, is this a bit risky, is this a bit scary, but I love it too. And it sounds like you're in that place where you've been able to create that, or you're looking forward to having that safety around you in order to then step out of the comfort zone and stretch that comfort zone a bit. And it is the people around you are so important to do that.
It is. I think it's to breathe, because that's the thing with play. The world is so play deprived that it's a shocker to most people when they see it, because it's been stripped of everybody. And therefore it can feel like an attack, if that makes sense. You know, oh my gosh. And so carrying the weight of being the energy, sometimes you just need space to breathe. And that would be excellent, to be fair.
And that's the recovery piece, isn't it?
Yeah, then maybe I get out of the red one. I could also go for some walks and do less things, but you know, I will. I'm excited to. Next time in the new year, I'll be like, look at my data, Sarah. Look how good I've been going.
Amazing. You're going to just want to wear it all the time.
Yes, I'm going to have to make sure I put it back in the box after day 3, spend a month making my amendments, then go again.
Fascinating.
Yeah, awesome. Fabulous.
All right, my dear.
Well, I think that's a wrap, isn't it, my friend?
That is a wrap for 2025. And we will be, one of the exciting, playful things we have planned in 2026 is to be back, but in a slightly different way.
Yes.
So listen out for that, and we shall keep everyone posted. I'm not going to say more than that at this point.
Yeah. Tantalising. Absolutely. So we'll definitely be back, but in a changed form. Sarah, you're a gift. I just love your face. Thank you for a glorious 2025. Thank you for teaching me, allowing me to witter on, and for helping me widen my perception of reality, what it means to be a good human, and what it really means to play. I am very, very grateful for you.
Oh, back at you. And thank you for making this happen. It's almost our anniversary of meeting in real life, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I know you're in real life friends. What?
In real life.
Like after all those years of being
I know.
online uni friends.
You're a real person. No, it's been amazing. And, you know, Lucie is brilliant at just doing stuff, grabbing hold of it and just getting it done, putting it into action, and working it out as we go. But you are playfulness embodied, and I very much look forward to what that means for us next year. In the meantime, Have an amazing Christmas.
Yes, indeed.
And see you on the other side.
See you in 2026. I hope you get all the presents that you want. Right, love you all. Mwah.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.